that the elites think of everybody as absolute garbage. They have fooled people through psychology and process. They're experts. I mean, a great example of this is Rand Paul endorsing Mitt Romney. The system knows, and the Rand Paul people understand, that the public is buying into the delusion that, well, Obama's been bad, so let's go for Mitt Romney. And then Romney will be bad, so let's go for this guy. And so they're like, hey, the public doesn't quite buy what we're saying. They're going to get mad at us if we don't endorse Romney. We want to do this. But it really is rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. The real power that the Pauls would have had was to really call out this system and be called kooks. The Pauls should know they really won early states, that they really were getting the most grassroots donations, that they were winning the info war. And the direction they're taking is one that I'm sure will give them success within the political process, but it's a political process that's fake. It doesn't go above Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. There's a ceiling to this. And you don't even break out into the real atmosphere of what's happening in real politics until you break out of that. And I'm not a spectator. I know our listeners aren't spectators. I mean, human potential is about really learning how things work. And this is like a giant Truman Show, or The Matrix, or the analogy of the little man behind the curtain and the great wondrous Oz. I've been behind the curtain, and people want to keep saying, no, no, it's real. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You know Ron Paul was real because the whole system came out against him and lied about him and said he couldn't win because he was anti-Patriot Act, anti-torture, anti-all these wars, pro-Constitution, anti-globalist bankster. He was exposing corporate welfare. He was anathema. And now, yeah, Rand Paul talked bad about the nanny state and, hey, let the Amish have their milk. Okay, great. That's little stuff where there's not that big of a lobby against him. But where there's a big pro-war lobby, he's starting to bend to it. And don't you understand, just like a third world country, the pro-war lobby is eating America now. The Defense Department says they're going to have troops on every street, and they're going to have local reaction forces and let the police call in airstrikes. That was announced by a sitting U.S. general in a CFR report 2 weeks ago. When we were on the road, we covered it. All of this was acclamation. We've been under psych warfare. They'd say, we're not going to be on the streets. This is just a drill. And it was always for a takeover. We got footage 14 years ago of the military training the Army and Marines in Maryland and California and Texas to go door to door with the Boy Scouts telling if their parents had guns. We got it on tape. It's in Police State 2000. And then 3 years ago, it's in the New York Times. And people were still calling us going, it can't be true. I love the Boy Scouts. It's not that the Boy Scouts are bad. Be like if your daughter got raped, she's not bad. She's been taken over. These are children that have been taken over via treason. You should be saying no. And there they are in the New York Times training to take on disgruntled veterans who won't turn their guns in. I mean, I found out every ROTC in the country. You know what drill they do? At colleges when they go on maneuvers, the Young Officer Corps, in the making, they train to take on U.S. militias and get FEMA briefings bad-mouthing George Washington. If you don't believe me and have family in ROTC, ask them. And watch them at the dinner table tell you it's classified. And get off on it. These are young people getting off on, wait a minute, you know that? That's classified. I can't talk to you about domestic plans to take on the American people. That's when you grab your 20-year-old son around the neck and say, listen here, Junior, that's treason. You better well tell me about it right now, punk. Or let's go outside. You think you're so tough, mister. These are the discussions that have to be happening right now. Right now. Right now. They've hired every stinking preacher I know of in this country as the clergy response teams, getting everybody ready for martial law. They didn't make all these preparations for nothing. They plan on pulling the trigger.
We're on the march. The empire.
The globalists hate nationalism. But they will use its name to sell their tyranny. They play all the major angles. We, as liberty lovers, have to play on truth and on self-preservation. and tell the minions of the system that you're going to be destroyed, guaranteed going along with this. And a lot of you aren't going to listen now, but you better remember and make the right decision later. I'm going to get into the big transhumanist report here in a moment, and then Jesse Ventura is coming up, and we'll probably open the phones up for Ventura when he is on with us. A lot of other news I'm going to be going over that we'll cover after I cover the transhumanist news. First off, if you go to Infowars.com, if you'd like to financially support this radio/TV transmission, the nightly news, everything we do, we have great products that I believe in and use, discounted at the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. Take ProPure, the best gravity-fed stainless steel filters out there, side-by-side comparison to the leading competitor at InfoWarsShop.com or InfoWarsStore.com. We'll get you there. There's no comparison. Go look at it for yourself. Watch the video presentation that I go over. We already have the lowest price, 10% off on top of that when you use the promo code WATER at checkout. And I did a lot of studying as I continue my preparedness, not because I'm living in fear. I'm living prepared. We have these at the lowest prices you're going to find, and a free citizen rule book and InfoWars bumper stickers. The Life Straw, you can drink swamp water with this, and it makes it safe to drink. Cuts out all the bacteria, viruses, stuff like that. It does not obviously get rid of fluoride. It's a chemical weapon and so small that almost nothing stops it. We've got some chemical filters that you can get with the ProPure that'll actually reduce it almost down to nothing, but it binds to the aluminum. It's an aluminum filter. People say, well, then we get aluminum. No, it binds to it, just like in chemistry. The point is, Life Straw, excellent product, and it is available discounted with Citizen Rulebook at Infowars.com. And I got these and was so impressed with them going on hikes and stuff. That's the one thing I've still got time to do. That, I've stuck this right into, rain puddles and just slurped it up. Absolutely delicious. Works so well. There's a promo video there at the site as well, Infowars.com. So it's a win-win-win. Get great prices on products that everybody needs and will certainly enjoy and use, and get great prices on it and support the broadcast. Infowars.com. Just click on the shopping link at the top or go to InfoWarsShop.com or InfoWarsStore.com. Will take you to the same place, the Infowars Shop. InfoWarsShop.com or 888-253-3139. That's 888-253-3139. And we have Jesse Ventura's great new book, DemoCRIPS and ReBLOODlicans, 1995, just came out yesterday, hardcover, normally $24.95. And we've got, you can get American Conspiracies, an excellent book, and 63 documents the government doesn't want you to know about, each of those for $4.95 a piece. So all three books for $29 and change, or just get DemoCRIPS and ReBLOODlicans at the discounted price there at Infowars.com. And lastly, all my books, videos, other great videos like A Noble Lie, they're all available at Infowars.com. Films like Police State 2000, shilling the Marines, training with the Boy Scouts to go tell them what mommy and daddy are doing. It's wild. This has all been going on behind the scenes. When do we know they're getting ready to strike? When they roll it out publicly. Because they've got to then do the PSYOP to acclimate. And they're trying to get the military to go along with it. Everybody's getting PSYOP'd here. The police are getting PSYOP'd. We're getting PSYOP'd as the citizens. And we're all Americans. And by the way, if you live in Australia, Canada, Israel, Germany, it doesn't matter. Governments use whatever the latest PSYOPs are. And the big corporations that control them do. So it's the same systems. Our police are wearing black masks and raiding political people. The Russians are wearing black masks and doing it. The Russians are chemtrailing. Our criminal government's chemtrailing. Because it's the same type of psychopaths running things everywhere. The Russians are involved in the New World Order, so are the Chi-Coms. But they're different gangs using the same management system, but they go to war with each other as well. They're now reporting that attack helicopters are being sent from Russia to Syria. This thing is escalating fast. The U.S. is using, the so-called U.S., to get the country back. We've got to admit that it was taken. They're sending in al-Qaeda forces. So people are like, well, don't side with Russia, side with Al-Qaeda. You know what? I'm going to be against the initiation of force and starting a war so the globalists can wreck Syria and make it even more backward than it already has been through sanctions and things. Once an industrialized society. This is the globalist with our money and our name initiating guerrilla warfare attacks, now wanting bombardments. And I see emails and comments going, oh, Alex, imminent war in Syria, just like everywhere else. Yeah, it is imminent using guerrilla forces and asymmetrical, and now they're on the news wanting bombardment from the air, calling them peace bombs. Libya was a war. So don't ask me to buy into your delusional world where they don't call it a war. So, hey, Alex, where's the Libya war? Thought it was coming. And I'm like, is that a joke? It was a giant war. 50-something thousand killed, 40,000 of them ethnically cleansed, hundreds of thousands run out of the country, Arab al-Qaeda brought in to do it, bombardment all over the country, and you're sitting there saying there wasn't a war. I mean, it's like this alternate dimension where delusional camp followers of the matrix system look at you like there's something wrong with you because you're informed. It's like an idiocracy where he's before the judge and he's actually defending himself and can actually speak, and the judge is like, oh, he's gay, he's retarded, oh, look, he can talk, oh, funny talk. I've actually had people before when I've been in public on vacation reading a book coming over going, hey, the Cowboy game's on. What you doing reading a book? And you just look at them, and because they can't believe a man is outside by the pool, at some hotel reading a book with his children swimming instead of watching a football game. And it's because listen, I live in the real world, not in the little world where the men slap each other on the hind end and do all the little stuff, and that's what's manly, and guys walk out with their case of beer and act real tough to their car to go see a football game. And Sandusky grabbing little kids and the TSA and everything. I'm not criticizing if you like football. I can go to a football game and get into it. It's like an anthropology experiment and go, yes, here are the primitives' little event programmed for them. There's the Defense Department propaganda during all the breaks. When they make a touchdown, they'll cut to military clapping in a Pavlovian way to associate, victory in touchdowns with the U.S. military. They make the dunk of the basketball, cut to military. They make the field goal, cut to military. And I just sit there watching everyone being bombarded with a Pentagon set flicker rate to put them into a catatonic state, near dream state. And I'm just like, oh, it's real fun. Yeah, it's fun. It's real fun to be under a psych warfare attack. Oh, yes. Oh, and some will say, oh, stop being so uppity. I'm not uppity. I'm just a regular guy who saw the other side of it. And I'm like, hey, folks, this is all a big illusion. It's like Plato's cave. They're all down in the cave, chained up, watching a fire behind them with puppeteers doing a puppet show. And they think what's projected on the cave wall, just like television. Man, Plato was smart. Also had to be a eugenicist. That's kind of the problem. He's their grand guru. And they said, oh, yeah, Plato, we're going to actually create a physical. And later I saw this and looked it up, knowing I would actually find articles about where the globalists did create it. And I found some of their own literature where they liken the television to Plato's cave wall. I mean, these people know what they're doing. And they're all looking at the cave wall. Well, one of the guys who's chained up finally is able to break out, and he looks up and sees sunlight up there, and he goes out and sees deer and fish in the brook and the sun and the moon, and it's so incredible. And he goes back to them, and they make fun of him and say, look, he's not trendy. He's imagining stuff. We're really good at interpreting the stuff we see on the cave wall dancing in front of us, like putting your hand in front of a projector when you were a kid doing a duck or a dinosaur. And they're all really good at the little controlled matrix paradigm and laughing at you. And he says, okay, I just wanted to help you and show you there's something much bigger. And they say, we don't want your help, pal. We want to go back in the matrix. So I try to reach people in the matrix by even going along with the Ron Paul thing. And I realize that doesn't help them. You want to reach in, and that's a sellout too. That's a smaller thing than what the Pauls did, but even playing games with any of this, I realize more and more, is addressing and going, okay, I won't talk about the outside big world out there. You're making a little duck on the wall there. Yes. Oh, look at that. A tiger just came out. Oh, yes. Oh, There's this whole universe outside the cave, and you're not going to get them. You're not going to get them that way.